Hey y'all, I am back with another sponsored video. This one is about Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper. They starred on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So this is about the goat versus the lion. So here's Mary Tyler Moore on the left. She's a Capricorn, the goat, and Valerie Harper is on the right, and she's a Leo, the lion, or lioness, you could say. This video has been sponsored by Jupiter Gone Wild. Now, Jupiter wants to know. So, Jupiter, you gave me like maybe 10 or 11 questions, but some of them were very subjective, where it wouldn't be really easy to see in the chart. So I chose the questions that are the most pertinent. So question number one, what kind of relationship dynamic did Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper have when the camera stopped rolling? Number two, what influenced Valerie and Mary to start a long friendship with her? Three, how did Mary feel about Valerie getting a spin-off show? Four, did Valerie feel any jealousy towards Mary Tyler Moore in terms of Mary's success? Five, when it comes to this friendship dynamic, who was the quiet one and who was the loud one? Six, how did Valerie Harper's I Wrote a Book affect their relationship dynamic? Seven, how would any debates Mary and Valerie had turn out? So as I go through the synastry, your questions will be answered. So here's my Mary Tyler Moore's chart. She was born on December 29th, 1936. And that 29 can produce conflict with women. And it was noted that Mary Tyler Moore often felt threatened by Valerie Harper's strong personality. And she kind of felt like Valerie Harper was stepping on her toes at times. So that 29 makes a lot of sense. So Mary Tyler Moore has Sun conjunct Jupiter in Capricorn, Mercury in Capricorn, Venus in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, Chiron and the South Node in Gemini, Moon and Pluto in Cancer, Neptune in Virgo, Mars in Libra. Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, North Node in Sagittarius, South Node in Gemini. She's a Pisces rising. And Valerie Harper was born on August 22nd, 1939. And that 22nd birth number can produce situations where control is a major issue. So like I always say, that 22 number can produce situations where either you're going to be in control or someone else is in control. And 22s can have a very strong and willful personality. So she has a Leo stellium consisting of Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto. Chiron's in Cancer, which can produce conflicts with women. Neptune in Virgo, North Node in Scorpio. Moon in Sagittarius, Mars in Capricorn, Jupiter in Aries, Saturn in Taurus, conjoined to that Taurus South Node, Uranus in Taurus. And Valerie Harper is a Leo rising. So again, she had a very strong personality, and you could see it come out in the show. Now, I wasn't a viewer of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, but while I was working on this video, I did watch one of the episodes, the very first episode. So I could see the dynamic between Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper, and they did have good chemistry on screen, but I can see that there was some tension between the two of them. And basically that was the whole premise of the show. They came from two different walks of life, and Valerie Harper was more rough around the edges, and Mary Tyler Moore was more refined and classy. And even Valerie Harper had commented in the first episode, it was so funny. She was like, how do you wake up in the morning looking perfect? She said something like that. Numerology. So Mary being a 29, that breaks down to 11 and 2. So again, can produce conflicts with women. Interference from third parties. High pressure situations. So Mary Tyler Moore could have felt like she was under a lot of pressure when, teaming up with Valerie Harper, because she was always afraid that Valerie will outdo her on the screen. Echoes her moon conjunct Pluto in Cancer. Valerie 22 breaks down to 4. So 22 is the number of submission and caution. And again, it's dealing with issues with control, controller be controlled. And the friendship theme comes with that 22 and 4. Very willful and can be uncompromising when it comes to what she wants. Can also be a bully. I'm not saying that she was a bully towards Mary Tyler Moore. I don't think that at all, but she could have been in other ways. And being disruptive. Now, she wasn't disruptive in, a purposeful sense, but you could say that she was a little disruptive in terms of making Mary feel uncomfortable because, this was Mary's show, but Valerie was still in the show a lot of times because of her charismatic personality and her star quality. So here's the bi-wheel of their synastry. And here is the synastry grid. So first we're going to get into the conjunctions because with synastry, I like to isolate the conjunctions because the conjunctions are neutral. They can either be good or bad. They could be both good and bad. So Valerie's Mars conjoined to Mary's Mercury. Now you can see this conjunction in action on the Mary Tyler Moore show where Rhoda, who is played by Valerie Harper, is very assertive, forceful, and domineering. She will often get a rise out of Mary. Valerie's Saturn conjoined to Mary's Uranus represents their professional connection. Valerie's Pluto conjoined to Mary's Moon and Pluto represents the first episode of the show where Rhoda was insisting that Mary's new apartment was hers. In 2000, she reunited with Moore, meaning Valerie Harper reunited with Moore in Mary and Rhoda, a television film that reunited their characters in later life. So the whole reunification, that's very much dealing with Valerie's Pluto conjoined to Mary's Moon and Pluto in Cancer. Valerie's North Node conjoined to Mary's Mars represents Rhoda, the spinoff TV show that resulted from Mary's show. Now, you asked, was Mary jealous by this spinoff, or how did she feel about this spinoff? I'm thinking she, with this conjunction, she looked at it as, kind of like, okay, good. She's able to be a star in her own right. She's able to, go off and do her own thing. Valerie's South Node conjoined to Mary's Uranus could have been close friends in a past life. So that South Node could be indicative of a past life connection that Valerie had with Mary and where they were friends, which would make that tension really real because, if they were coming from a past life of being friends, then how sometimes friends can also be rivals. So that makes a lot of sense if they were friends in a past life. So here they are on the set of the Mary Tyler Moore show. Strengths and opportunities. So the strengths and opportunities, they're basically the trines and the sextiles in the synastry chart. Valerie's Moon trine Mary's Moon and Pluto. Personalities and harmony. Valerie's naturally funny demeanor blended well with Mary's natural emotive demeanor. Valerie's Sun and Venus sextile Mary's Mars represents Valerie's star quality that Mary helped to bring out. And that's because Valerie's Sun and Venus are in Leo. Valerie's Sun trine Mary's Jupiter. Valerie's bold, bossy, and vibrant spirit worked well with Mary's dry and sarcastic humor. Mary being Valerie's mentor, with Mary's Jupiter being in Capricorn, Valerie benefiting from Mary's experience. Valerie's Sun trine Mary's Uranus represents their friendship on the show. And it could be a friendship in real life, but from what I read, they really weren't friends in, off the set. But they weren't enemies either. Valerie's Sun and Venus trine Mary's North Node in midheaven echoes the trine in Valerie's chart. Creating great comedy together with Mary's North Node in midheaven in Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules comedy. And then Valerie's Sun and Venus in Leo. So that's great entertainment, great comedic timing as well. Here they are later in life. Both of them have passed on. Valerie's Mars trine marries Neptune. This echoes the trine in Valerie's chart. Represents their on-screen chemistry. Valerie's dedication and ambition activated the magical recipe for Mary. Valerie's Uranus trine marries Neptune. Basically, this represents their on-screen friendship. Earth trine promoted longevity. Valerie's Uranus trine marries Mercury. Rhoda befriending her neighbor Mary on the show. So this Earth trine promoted longevity of the TV series as well. And this was definitely due to with the help of Valerie. So I would say Mary had a lot to be thankful for Valerie for, because she really helped to make the Mary Tyler Moore show what it was. I don't think it would have been as popular if Valerie Harper wasn't on that show. Valerie's Neptune trine marries Mercury. And I would also say Valerie's character was more relatable to the average woman as opposed to Mary Tyler Moore's character. Valerie's regular on-screen presence helped to boost ratings for the Mary Tyler Moore show. Valerie's Chiron trine marries Saturn and Ascendant. For her work on Mary Tyler Moore, she, Valerie, thrice received the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, and later received the award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series for Rhoda. So winning awards, that's one of the manifestations of Chiron. So this is representing the awards that Valerie has won through the Mary Tyler Moore show. Valerie's Chiron sextile marries Neptune. Represents Valerie's contribution to the show being award-winning. So here's Valerie right here. Valerie's Saturn and South Node trine marries Sun and Jupiter. Represents the money that Valerie earned through working with Mary. So Valerie's Saturn and South Node are in Taurus, so that's where the money's coming from. Mary's Sun and Jupiter are in Capricorn. So this is another Earth trine that also promoted longevity. Valerie's Midheaven trine marries North Node in Midheaven. Represents Valerie's rapid rise to success through Mary, because Valerie had that Aries Midheaven, trining Mary's North Node and Midheaven in Sagittarius. Valerie getting her own show, Rhoda, as a result of working with Mary. So this trine could show that Mary was fine and happy for Valerie for getting her own show. Now let's get into the weaknesses and threats, which are represented by the challenging aspects: the semi-square, the square, the quincunx, opposition, sesqui-square. So Valerie's moon was in quincunx with Mary's Uranus. This is basically representing Mary being uncompromising with her methods, which could have made Valerie feel that she had to tone down some of her over-the-top comedic presence. Valerie's Sun quincunx marries Mercury. Mary having to adjust some of her lines or mannerisms due to Valerie's attempts to outshine her. So the lines are represented by Mary's Mercury. And with Valerie having a Leo Sun, it was hard for Valerie not to outshine Mary. So even if Valerie tried to tone it down, you know, she probably still had that star quality that would make Mary feel uncomfortable. But I see this quincunx as more so Mary having to adjust her lines, gestures, mannerisms to fit Valerie's style or, you know, her acting. Valerie's Mercury square marries Uranus. Mary could have insisted upon changing some of Valerie's lines. And maybe that was so Mary would have more of the, you know, the jokes and all that. And this can also show that they really weren't friends like that off screen. Valerie's Mercury quincunx marries Ascendant. Mary was too sensitive when it came to Valerie's ballsy communication style. And that's because Mary's Ascendant is in Pisces. Valerie's Mercury is in Leo. Valerie's Mercury square marries Lilith. The attention and adoration that Valerie commanded triggered feelings of jealousy and hate within Mary. Perhaps, but I believe that was true with that Lilith being in Scorpio. Valerie's Venus sesqui-square Mary's Sun. Mary feeling upstaged by Valerie at times. Valerie could have demanded more money or focus to Mary's chagrin. Valerie's Venus quincunx Mary's Mercury. Mary fearing that Valerie was going to take over her show due to her popularity. Mary could have turned mean and cold towards Valerie at some point, akin to giving her the cold shoulder, because Mary's Mercury is in Capricorn, Valerie's Venus is in Leo. So this could show that, Mary was a little bitter, could have been mean at times when Valerie was getting a lot of shine. Valerie's Venus opposition Mary's Venus. Being at odds in terms of style, dealings with the public, methods, values, and standards. Mary took more of a team player approach with her Venus in Aquarius, while Valerie was going for the gold, with her Venus being in Leo. And going for the gold, that could also mean Valerie really wanted to be the star or be a star, even if it meant having to break away from Mary. Here's Valerie again. And you see in the credits of this show, they put with Valerie Harper as Rhoda Morgenstern. So basically they're putting her up there like, yeah, this is the next big star, even though this is Mary Tyler Moore's show. Watch out for Valerie because she's coming. She's rising up. Valerie's Mars opposition Mary's Moon and Pluto represents the premise of the Mary Tyler Moore show in terms of Rhoda's attempts to regain control of Mary's apartment, represented by Mary's Moon, as well as her hardened, matter-of-fact persona. Mary perceiving Valerie to be after her comfy position in terms of being the woman of influence for viewers. Mary could sometimes feel cornered by Valerie, could have played out as a few confrontations. Valerie's Mars square Mary's Mars. Mary did not view Valerie as her peer, basically, more like the devil on her back. Valerie's overly ambitious nature and desire for individual recognition made it hard for Mary to see her as her equal. Valerie was not very good at socializing after work. And I believe Valerie got Mars in Capricorn. Let me just go back real quick and make sure. Yeah, so that's where that overly ambitious nature is coming from. And with her Mars in Capricorn, she probably really wasn't about, socializing, being part of this, team after work, going out to dinner together and all that type of stuff. She was just very much about getting the job done. Valerie's Mars quincunx Mary's South Node. Adjustments made to the scripts because Mary's South Node was in Gemini. So Gemini is representing the scripts, giving Valerie more screen time. Mary may have started being two-faced once she saw Valerie rising to the top. Valerie's Jupiter square Mary's Sun in Jupiter, a conflict involving morals, ethics, beliefs, and aspirations. Valerie's rapid growth strikes fear within Mary. Valerie's Jupiter semi-square Mary's Venus. Mary being put off by Valerie's self-aggrandizement. Mary did not feel unified with Valerie because, again, Mary's Venus is in Aquarius where it's like, okay, that's a unified Venus. That's a Venus where it's like, okay, we're all in this together. We're friends. But this is basically showing that Valerie wasn't really interested in being friends with Mary. Off screen, that is. Valerie could have been doing too much at times, which threw the dynamic off balance. Sorry, that's a typo. Valerie's Saturn and South Node squaring Mary's Moon and Pluto. Valerie was about getting down to business and money. with that Saturn and South Node in Taurus, while Mary wanted to build close bonds with her moon and Pluto in Cancer. So this quote right here is pertaining to these squares. The storm really began to brew when decades later, Moore and Harper reunited for the 2000 TV movie Mary and Rhoda, which was originally envisioned as a backdoor pilot for a new weekly series. As explained in the Mary bio, the two actresses were business partners in the new movie, but Moore was reluctant about allocating any supervision to Harper. Consequently, probably because Harper would take over with her being a birth number 22. Consequently, Harper was not satisfied, and the potential Mary and Rhoda series never happened. And again, it's like now they're on a level playing field later in life, where before Mary had more of the upper hand because it was the Mary Tyler Moore show. So it would make sense that they couldn't come to an agreement about the supervision of this spinoff show. Valerie's Saturn and South Node square Mary's Mercury. Mary feeling that she has to watch what she says around Valerie. Mary having to change some of her lines to conform to Valerie's methods or standards. Valerie's Saturn opposition Mary's Mars. Mary not feeling like she is Valerie's equal. She recognized her need for recognition early on. Valerie's Saturn and South Node semi-square. Oh, and just going back with Mary's Mars being in Libra, that's where she's not, Mary's not feeling like she is Valerie's equal. Valerie's Saturn and South Node semi-square Mary's Saturn. Valerie's self-esteem could have been adversely affected by Mary's model looks. So remember, like I said, in that first episode, Valerie mentions like about how great Mary Tyler Moore looks after just getting up in the morning when Valerie comes to her apartment. So it's kind of revealed in the first episode about how Valerie felt about Mary's looks. And then even in an interview, Valerie talked about how she did envy Mary Tyler Moore's cute shape and her model type looks. Valerie's Uranus sesqui square Mary's Sun and Jupiter. The value that fans placed on Valerie's role as Rhoda made Mary fearful of losing her top position. So Valerie's Uranus and Taurus, that's representing the values that the fans placed on Valerie's role. And then Mary's Sun and Jupiter in Capricorn, that's basically where her Sun and Jupiter in Capricorn, that's basically Mary wanting all the recognition. But of course, she had to share it with Valerie. So of course, that's going to be a problem for Mary. And Capricorn really is not really, fine with sharing their top position. Valerie's Uranus square Mary's Venus. This echoes the square in Valerie's chart. So Valerie could have objected to the amount of money that she was getting paid at some point. Maybe she felt like she wasn't getting paid enough. Maybe she wanted to get paid as much as Mary was. So this shows a lack of unity. Also severing ties, which was initiated by Valerie. So that whole situation where that deal for the spinoff show later in life didn't work out, that's basically where Valerie was like, nope, I'm not going to do it if I can't get that supervision, if I can't supervise some of it. Valerie, and again, this is another aspect that shows that they really weren't friends in real life. I don't care what they say. They didn't really mess with each other like that. Valerie's Uranus quincunx Mary's North Node in midheaven can represent the fact that Mary could not receive all the glory due to Valerie's fan base, represented by her Uranus and Taurus. Mary having to adjust her comedic timing, represented by that Sagittarius midheaven and the North Node in Sag, due to Valerie's unique style. Now here they are right here on the set of the Mary Tyler Moore show, all hugged up. But as you could kind of see, Mary Tyler Moore looks a little tense here. Like Valerie looks very comfortable. She's in her Leo mode, giving Mary love and all this stuff. But I could kind of tell Mary wasn't really and first of all, with her being a Capricorn, Capricorns aren't touchy-feely people. And I can relate to that because I got moon and ascendant in Capricorn. I'm not a very huggy, touchy-feely person. So that's what I'm like seeing here with Mary Tyler Moore. And look at how her hand is. It's almost like this hand is like kind of, maintaining control, like don't come in too close. Valerie's Neptune quincunx marries Venus. Mary viewing Valerie as stealing some of the scenes. And that was written about in an article about the Mary Tyler Moore show, where Valerie would in fact be stealing some of the scenes, and maybe not on purpose, but it was just because of her star quality. Valerie's Neptune opposition marries Saturn. Mary feeling vulnerable and trapped in this working relationship with her Saturn being in Pisces. She may have considered quitting at some point. Valerie may have undermined Mary's authority at times. Valerie's Neptune sesqui-square marries Uranus. Valerie stealing some of Mary's fans. Valerie's Neptune square marries Chiron. Miscommunication. Valerie changing some of Mary's lines because her Chiron's in Gemini. Valerie's Neptune square marries North Node in midheaven. This square made it hard for Mary to remain optimistic, generous, and understanding, fearing that Valerie would steal her spot. Valerie's Pluto opposition marries Mercury. This echoes the opposition in Mary's chart. Mary viewing Valerie as a threat to her career. Valerie undermining Mary's authority, changing lines in the script, crossing shit out. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that was going on. It's like a game of volleyball where Valerie is continuously spiking the ball on Mary. That's how I look at this opposition. Can show that Valerie rejected some of what was written in Mary's book. Valerie's Pluto square marries Mars. This echoes the square in Mary's chart. And this is a really challenging square. Mary feeling pressured by Valerie to go harder with her character. And remember, Mary is a 29 birth number. And remember, I said that could produce high pressure situations. So here's where the pressure is coming in. Mary seeing Valerie as trying to usurp her spot. Rhoda, who was played by Valerie, was jealous of Mary, including of her looks. It is made known in the first episode. Valerie's Pluto sesqui-square marries Saturn. Mary may say that Valerie's heavy emotive energy would sometimes drive her to drink. Now, Mary Tyler Moore did have a problem with alcoholism, which stems from her father, because you could see it in the chart where her Saturn in Pisces and I believe was squaring the South Node in the 4th house. But I wouldn't be surprised if she would accuse Valerie, not to her face, but just be like, yeah, that bitch drives me to drink. Valerie's Pluto square marries Uranus. This is akin to Valerie infiltrating Mary's network. And again, this wasn't like it was on purpose, but that's just how it goes when somebody has a lot of star quality. You're the star of the show, but next thing you know, some of your fans are becoming fans of Valerie's. Valerie's North Node square marries Moon and Pluto. This echoes the square in Valerie's chart. Challenges with collaborating with Mary due to her personalized approach. Valerie's North Node sesqui-square marries Saturn. Could represent some jealousy or envy on Valerie Rhoda's part due to Mary's Model S look. So again, that theme comes up. So this quote right here is pertaining to the sesqui-square as well. It says, yet, as explained in Mary, the Mary Tyler Moore story, Harper acknowledged that her most famous TV character was partially envious of Moore's on-screen Mary Richards. There was a part of Rhoda that was very protective of Mary, Harper said, like an older sister. And there was a part that was jealous of that model's body. Valerie's North Node semi-square marries Neptune. Oh, another thing about Mary Tyler Moore, which is represented by her sun, Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. Mary Tyler Moore had an overbite. So her teeth, her top teeth kind of, they were like pretty large and kind of sticking out. But it was cute on her. But that's where that overbite is coming from. Valerie's North Node semi-square marries Neptune. Could also represent some jealousy and envy due to Mary's look, with Neptune being her chart ruler. Valerie's ascendant quincunx marries Sun and Jupiter. Mary may have felt that she had to improve upon her comedic timing when working with Valerie due to her star quality. So Valerie's ascendant in Leo, that's giving her star quality. Mary's Sun and Jupiter in Capricorn, that's representing comedic timing, with Jupiter representing comedy and the Capricorn energy representing timing. Valerie may have sometimes viewed Mary as a dark cloud over her head or a wet blanket, which Capricorn is prone to be. So Capricorn and Leo form a natural quincunx. And for a good reason, because both of those signs like to be the boss. Both of them are authority figures. So they could often clash, especially if their egos are big. And I believe both of their egos were big. You know, Valerie with her Leo stellium and Mary with her Sun Jupiter conjunction. Valerie's ascendant square marries Uranus. I think, oh, that's wrong. I misspelled that. I was supposed to put Mary. Excuse me for this. Neptune square my Mars. It's on its way out. But yeah, I'll do a live stream soon where I'll talk about this damn transit. But yeah, Mary could have been cold and indifferent towards Valerie at times. Shows that they were not friends in real life. So Jupiter, your question about, how was their friendship off the set? I really don't see them being friends in real life because of this aspect and a few others. Valerie could have viewed Mary as a bully or tyrant at times. So here's Mary by herself. You could kind of see the overbite here that I'm talking about. That's represented by Sun, Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. Valerie's midheaven square marries Moon and Pluto. Valerie's individual success and recognition made Mary feel uncomfortable and resentful. Valerie's midheaven squaring marries Mercury. Mary may have tried to take Valerie down a peg or two at times. Valerie's midheaven opposition marries Mars. So Valerie's midheaven is in Aries, Mary's Mars is in Libra, represents Rhoda, the spinoff from the MTM show, Mary Tyler Moore show for Valerie. And again, I'm seeing as Mary looking at this spinoff as a release. But I think by then the Mary Tyler Moore show was over. Or maybe there was only like 1 year left. Mary being agitated over the individual recognition that Valerie was receiving. So here's Valerie Harper to the left, Mary Tyler Moore, and I forget this woman's name, but she played on the Mary Tyler Moore show too. Oh, why can't I think of her name right now? But she also played in the Facts of Life towards the end of that Facts of Life run. So she was in the later seasons of the Facts of Life. And she played, if you watch the Facts of Life growing up, Edna Garrett, she was the house mother. But then she came on the scene later on once Edna Garrett left. But anyway, she played Mary Tyler Moore's friend on the Mary Tyler Moore show. But she did a really good job just playing off the two of them. But that basically concludes this reading about Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper. Hopefully you found it insightful, Jupiter, as well as anybody else that's interested in Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper's relationship. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I will be back with some more videos very soon. And if you would like a reading, you could go to my website. The link is in the description section. If you would like to sponsor a video, a case study, what have you, just send me an email with case study or sponsored video in the subject line. My email address will be in the description section. Peace.